Hello and welcome, Class 11G Advanced Aspirants. Today, we are diving deep into a fascinating reaction in organic chemistry, ozonolysis. This powerful tool allows chemists to precisely cut carbon-carbon double and triple bonds. We'll start with the basics, then gradually build up our understanding through easy, medium, hard, and finally, the most challenging G advanced level concepts. Get ready to explore how this reaction works and why it's so important. Let's kick things off with the fundamentals. What exactly is ozonolysis, and why is it so useful in chemistry? Ozonolysis is a chemical reaction used to cleave, or break, carbon-carbon double and triple bonds in alkenes and alkynes. Think of it like a molecular scissor. The main purpose is to produce carbonyl compounds, which are molecules containing AC is equal to O group, like aldehydes and ketones. The reaction happens in two key stages. First, ozone, which is O, adds across the multiple bond to form an unstable intermediate called an ozonide. Second, this ozonide is then broken down, or worked up, using specific reagents. This two-step process is crucial for its controlled nature and versatility in organic synthesis. It's a cornerstone reaction for identifying the position of double bonds in unknown compounds, a common challenge in organic chemistry. The workup step is where the magic truly happens, determining the final products. We primarily distinguish between two types, reductive and oxidative ozonolysis. In reductive ozonolysis, reagents like zinc dust in water or dimethyl sulfide are used. These agents break the ozonide and prevent any further oxidation, yielding aldehydes and ketones. Aldehydes are formed from carbons that originally had at least one hydrogen attached to the double bond, while ketones are formed from carbons with two alkyl groups. Oxidative ozonolysis, on the other hand, typically uses hydrogen peroxide. Here, any aldehydes formed are further oxidized into carboxylic acids, while ketones remain unchanged. For example, if you start with ethene, reductive ozonolysis gives you formaldehyde, a simple aldehyde. Now that you have a basic understanding of ozonolysis, let's test your knowledge with these three practice questions. Try to identify the products or understand the reaction scope based on what we've just learned. Take your time to think about the double bond cleavage and the role of the workup reagents. Good luck! Ready to go deeper? Let's unravel the fascinating mechanism behind ozonolysis and explore its synthetic utility. The mechanism of ozonolysis is quite intricate and is famously known as the Crigi mechanism. It begins with ozone, a 1,3-dipole, undergoing a concerted 1,3-dipolar cycloaddition reaction with the alkene. This forms a highly unstable, 5-membered ring intermediate called a primary ozonide or molozonide. This molozonide is extremely reactive and quickly rearranges. This rearrangement involves a retro 1,3-dipolar cycloaddition, where the molozonide breaks apart into two fragments, a carbonyl compound and a highly reactive species called a carbonyl oxide, also known as the Crigi intermediate. Understanding this initial formation and rapid decomposition is key to grasping the reaction's overall pathway. Following the initial breakup, the Crigi intermediate and the carbonyl compound, which were just formed, don't stay separate for long. They quickly recombine through another 1,3-dipolar cycloaddition reaction. This time, they form a more stable, 5-membered ring structure known as the secondary ozonide, or simply ozonide. This secondary ozonide is the species that is then subjected to the workup conditions. The choice of workup reagent is absolutely critical. A reductive workup, typically with zinc and water or dimethyl sulfide, ensures that the ozonide breaks down to yield aldehydes and ketones. This is because the reducing agent prevents the sensitive aldehyde products from further oxidation. In contrast, an oxidative workup, usually with hydrogen peroxide, will oxidize any aldehyde products into carboxylic acids, while ketones remain unaffected. Ozonolysis is an incredibly powerful tool for predicting products and, conversely, for identifying unknown starting materials. If you're given an alkene and the workup conditions, you can mentally cleave the double bond and add oxygen atoms to each carbon to predict the carbonyl products. For example, if you have to butene and perform reductive ozonolysis, you'd get 2 molecules of acetaldehyde. But what if you're given the products and need to find the original alkene? You simply reverse the process. Imagine removing the oxygen atoms from the carbonyl groups and joining the 2 carbons with a double bond. This working backwards approach is fundamental in organic chemistry and allows chemists to deduce the structure of complex molecules by breaking them down into simpler, identifiable fragments. It's like solving a molecular puzzle. Now that we've explored the Crigi mechanism and the critical role of workup conditions, let's tackle these 5 medium-level practice questions. These will require you to apply your knowledge of both predicting products from reactants and working backward to identify the original alkene. Pay close attention to the details of the workup reagents. Good luck! Alright, it's time to elevate our understanding. Let's dive into the nuances of ozonolysis, including deeper mechanistic insights and comparisons with other reactions. The Crigi mechanism, while seemingly straightforward, has subtle complexities. The initial 1,3-dipolar cycloaddition of ozone to the alkene is a SYN addition, meaning the ozone adds to the same face of the double bond. However, the subsequent rearrangement of the primary ozonide and the formation of the secondary ozonide involves bond breaking and reforming, which generally leads to a loss of the original stereochemical information of the alkene in the final carbonyl products. For instance, CIS and transalkenes often yield the same set of carbonyl products. Nevertheless, the relative stereochemistry of the oxygen atoms within the secondary ozonide can be influenced. The regioselectivity, or where the ozone attaches in unsymmetrical alkenes, can also be influenced by electronic factors, though the bond cleavage itself is complete. A crucial distinction in ozonolysis lies in the workup conditions, reductive versus oxidative. In reductive ozonolysis, using agents like ZnHO or dimethyl sulfide, the goal is to obtain aldehydes and ketones. The reducing agent effectively traps the intermediate, preventing further oxidation. This is ideal when you need to preserve aldehyde functionality. Oxidative ozonolysis, typically with HO, takes it a step further. Here, any aldehyde products are oxidized to carboxylic acids, while ketones remain stable. This pathway is preferred when carboxylic acid groups are desired in the final product. Understanding this difference is not just about memorizing reagents, but about appreciating the synthetic control it offers over the final functional groups. It allows chemists to tailor the reaction to specific synthetic goals. Ozonolysis stands out among methods for cleaving carbon-carbon multiple bonds due to its mild conditions and high selectivity. Compared to stronger oxidizing agents like hot, concentrated potassium permanganate, which can lead to overoxidation and a complex mixture of products, ozonolysis offers a cleaner and more controlled cleavage. Hot KMNO can even cleave single bonds under harsh conditions, while ozonolysis specifically targets the pi system. This precision makes ozonolysis invaluable in complex synthetic routes, especially in the total synthesis of natural products where specific functional group transformations are critical. It's often used to pinpoint the exact location of double bonds in unknown natural compounds, aiding in their structure elucidation. Its ability to work at low temperatures also minimizes unwanted side reactions, preserving other sensitive functional groups within the molecule. You've now delved into the advanced aspects of ozonolysis, including its detailed mechanism, stereochemical implications, and comparison with other methods. Test your deeper understanding with these 7 hard-level questions. These will challenge you to apply mechanistic reasoning and consider the subtle differences in reaction outcomes. Think critically about each step and the role of various factors. Good luck! Welcome to the hardest level of ozonolysis. Here, we'll explore the competitive depth of this reaction, delve into its engineering insights, and connect it to broader scientific contexts for advanced excellence. The Cree mechanism is not just a theoretical construct, it has been extensively studied through kinetic and spectroscopic methods, confirming the existence of the primary ozonide and the Cree intermediate. The Cree intermediate, being a zwitterionic carbonyl oxide, is a highly reactive species. Its fate is crucial. Typically, it recombines with the carbonyl compound to form the secondary ozonide. However, in the absence of a suitable carbonyl partner, or under specific conditions, the Cree intermediate can undergo alternative reactions, such as polymerization, reaction with alcohols or water to form hydroperoxides, or even intramolecular reactions if the structure permits. Understanding these potential side reactions is vital for optimizing reaction conditions and maximizing the yield of desired products, especially in industrial applications where efficiency is paramount. While we primarily focus on alkenes, ozonolysis of alkynes also yields interesting products. Unlike alkenes, which yield carbonyl compounds, alkynes typically undergo ozonolysis to form carboxylic acids. The initial product is often an alpha-diketone, which then undergoes further oxidation, especially under oxidative workup conditions, to yield carboxylic acids. If the alkyne is internal and symmetrical, two molecules of the same carboxylic acid are formed. If it's unsymmetrical, a mixture of two different carboxylic acids results. Terminal alkynes, upon ozonolysis, yield a carboxylic acid and carbon dioxide, as the terminal carbon is completely oxidized. From an engineering perspective, the safe and efficient generation of ozone using ozonators, the precise control of reaction temperature, often at cryogenic levels, and the rapid quenching of reactive intermediates are critical for large-scale industrial applications, such as the production of azelaic acid from oleic acid for polymer synthesis. Ozonolysis is a cornerstone in retrosynthetic analysis. When faced with a target molecule containing two carbonyl functionalities, a common retrosynthetic disconnection involves tracing them back to an alkene precursor via ozonolysis. This provides a powerful strategy for synthesizing complex molecules from simpler building blocks. For example, if a target molecule has an aldehyde and a ketone separated by a few carbons, one can envision an alkene that would yield these upon ozonolysis. Furthermore, the reaction's utility extends to the analytical realm. By identifying the carbonyl products, the exact position of double bonds in complex natural products, such as steroids or terpenes, can be unequivocally determined. This was historically crucial for elucidating the structures of many organic compounds before the advent of modern spectroscopic techniques like NMR and mass spectrometry, and it remains a complementary tool. Beyond laboratory synthesis, ozonolysis finds significant industrial applications. For instance, it's used in the production of various dicarboxylic acids, which are precursors for polymers like nylons. The synthesis of fragrances and flavors also heavily relies on ozonolysis to produce specific aldehydes and ketones. Environmentally, ozonolysis is explored for wastewater treatment, where ozone is used to break down persistent organic pollutants. However, the handling of ozone, a potent oxidizing agent, requires strict safety protocols, including specialized equipment and ventilation. The stability and explosive potential of ozonides also necessitate careful control of reaction conditions, particularly temperature. The legacy of ozonolysis lies in its elegant simplicity for bond cleavage and its profound impact on both fundamental organic chemistry research and industrial chemical processes, making it a truly indispensable reaction. You've reached the pinnacle of understanding ozonolysis. Now, let's put your comprehensive knowledge to the ultimate test with the first 5 questions of our hardest level. These problems will challenge your mechanistic depth, your ability to apply the reaction in complex synthetic scenarios, and your understanding of subtle variations. Analyze each question carefully, drawing upon all the concepts we've covered. Good luck! Let's continue to push your boundaries with the remaining 5 questions from our hardest level. These questions are designed to simulate the intricate problem-solving required for JEE Advanced. They might involve multi-step reactions, require you to work backwards, or consider stereochemical implications. Think deeply about the nuances of the Cree mechanism, the role of different workup conditions, and the synthetic utility of ozonolysis in a broader chemical context. You've got this. And that brings us to the end of our journey through ozonolysis. I hope you've gained a thorough understanding of this crucial reaction, from its basic principles to its advanced mechanistic details and synthetic applications. Remember, mastery comes with practice. For more such in-depth content, practice questions, and a personalized learning experience, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates and more exciting chemistry lessons. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep striving for excellence in your JEE Advanced preparation.